Daily Broadside at 860. It's a little seance in here because it's like 5 in the morning. But I'm going to read you a message. I get messages from mostly women, a couple guys over here and there, but it's usually scams. But and I can usually tell pretty quickly whether or not it's a scam or it's not. And I don't just delete them. I like just talking crap to scammers and all. So because I find them to be horrible people on this planet. But I got a message the other day from a female, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, hi, how are you? And this is completely out of the blue. This is not somebody that follows me, right? So already a little suspect. And I said, I'm well. She's like, where are you from? I said, North Carolina. She's like, where about? I said, Central, because I'm on guard here. I'm like, why are we asking all these questions just right out of the chute? She's like, that's cool, and am from Charlotte. So first clue there is the broken English. I'm like, we're not making complete sentences. Typically scam talk, right? I said, that's cool. And then a little bit later, what's your current family situation? Are you married? And do you have any little ones running around bringing joy and excitement to your life? First of all, that's an odd way of posing a question. And I said, why do you ask? She's like, just want to know if you're married or not. So now it's not about the kids. It's just about, am I married? I said, I get that, but why? Because again, I'm guarded at this point still because I don't believe this is a real person. This is some kind of bot crap. She's like, I'm flying solo, never been married, and don't have any kiddos. I can't stand the word kiddos when referred to children. It annoys me to no end. But I do have some valuable life experience under my belt. I've been through a tough relationship in the past, and I'm wiser and stronger because of it. It's fine if you don't want to tell me. And I'm like, what kind of a weird way to state that you are single? I said, I'm not married. These are just random questions. She's like, okay, are you not into relationship? That's how the question was posed. Again, broken English. I said, yeah, I'm into relationships. Who isn't? She's like, you're into relationship, right? And I said, I got to level with you. Your broken English makes you sound like a complete scammer, which I'm fairly certain you are. So just go ahead and ask me for money. And she says, what are you talking about? I said, you in this random conversation. Your name isn't April, and you aren't in Charlotte, but go on. And I said, and so she doesn't respond for a couple hours because she's probably texting a bunch of other people that she's trying to get money out of. And I said, cat got your tongue? Or are you too busy messaging 100 other naive dudes in hopes of scoring a sucker? She's like, whoa, hold up. I'm just here to chat and have fun. No need to be rude. I said, I'm not being rude. So you just randomly picked me to talk to? She's like, not at all. I just thought it would be fun to chat. I said, yeah, that's great and all, but why me? She's like, you're the only one that accepted my message. Except she said, you're the only one that accept my message. I said, amazing. So I'm the lowest common denominator. She's like, no way. You're definitely not the lowest common denominator. You're amazing. I said, what's amazing about me? She's like, you're handsome and your tattoos. I said, that makes me amazing. You don't even know me. And she's like, I saw your posts. I said, cool, let's meet for drinks in Charlotte tomorrow evening. So that was Wednesday evening. And then Friday morning, I said, so you're not interested in me anymore? Because she never responded to my drink offer. She's like, yes, I'm interested. I said, cool, you free tonight? Yes, and what are we going to do? Which I just told her. I said, meet for drinks. She's like, then? I said, no expectations, just see how we vibe. And I don't normally talk like that, but that's just what people say. So I would never vibe with anybody. Like I don't use that word unless I'm talking to idiots. She's like, okay. Now that's Friday at 8:00 in the morning. 4:00 that afternoon. Hey, I said, hey, 2 hours later, because she doesn't respond. How are you doing today? I said, I'm fine. She's like, how's your day going? Now we're supposed to meet for drinks. It's now 2 hours every time there's a conversation. It's 7:00 at night. I'm an hour from Charlotte. Like I got to drive to the bar we're meeting at, right? She's like, how's your day going? I said, it's over, so it's great. She's like, what are you up to? I said, I just finished eating. What did you have? Sushi. That's good. And I said, I got to tell you, you really suck at this whole acting like a real person thing. Because at this point, I've done a little more digging, and I have discovered that the pictures in her 90 follower account are the same as an adult film star that Google led me to. And, you do some backwards like Google searching and bam. I mean, the tattoos give it away. The nakedness also gives it away. But she's and it's a completely different name. And I'm like, okay, so I'm either talking to a real adult film star, or I'm talking to someone who's using adult film star pictures and creating a fake account, which I'm leaning towards the latter. And so I tell her that, you really suck at this whole acting like a real person. So she comes back, the next day, 12 hours later. What do you mean? I said, this is a fake account. Duh. She's like, that's rude and am real. Subject verb agreement is really, really weak. And I said, so you're an adult film star? She's like, yes. So what's up? I said, sure you are. She's like, yes. Do you have a problem with that? I said, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't believe that's who you are either. And then she said, I don't care if you believe me or not. I'm real. So if you want to stop texting if you want me to stop texting you, I will do that now. And I said, how convenient. Why do people suck so bad? I mean, it's so obvious. Like, you can download apps, create a fake number, say, hey, contact me through this app, and we'll talk through some kind of Google FaceTime. Like, there's ways of like proving that these people aren't real. They won't meet you out. So I'm obviously not stupid enough to send you my phone number and my WhatsApp, blah, blah, blah. It annoys me to no end, and I hope they all burn in hell. Let me tell you another one, okay? It was January of this year that this makes a year that this happened, and I will continue this part here in just a minute because it'll take a minute to describe. Part 2 coming up. Stand by.